Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of humankind, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important tasks in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to our charge, all which we ask in the name and for the sake of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. I have to inform the Senate that I have received the following bills from the National Assembly: Zimbabwe School Examinations Council Amendment Bill HB 4A 2025 and Tourism Bill HB 7A 2025. Are there any notices of motions? Any notices of motions?
Yes, Madam President.
Honorable
Honorable Mazungunye.
Honorable Minister Mazungunye, I recognize you.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to move that for a notice that whereas Section 327(2)(a) of the Constitution of Zimbabwe provides that any convention, treaty, or agreement acceded to, concluded, or executed by or under the authority of the President with one or more foreign states or governments or international organizations shall be subject to approval by Parliament. And whereas the Fund for Export Development in Africa, the FEDA establishment agreement entered into force on the 1st of September 2021, having been signed and ratified by 2 Afrexim Bank member states in terms of paragraph 2, items 1 and 2 of Article 20. And whereas the Republic of Zimbabwe did not sign the FEDA establishment, and whereas the Republic of Zimbabwe, having considered the charters of FEDA Holdco, FEDA Investment Management, and FEDA Capital annexed to the FEDA established agreement, accepted and acceded to the FEDA establishment agreement by disposing and depositing an instrument of accession dated 10 February 2023. And whereas in accordance with paragraph 4 of Article 20 of the FEDA establishment agreement shall take effect for each contracting party on the date of deposit of its instrument of ratification, acceptance, approval, or accession in accordance with its constitutional or other applicable statutory procedures. Now, therefore, in terms of Section 327, subsection 2A of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, this House resolves that the FEDA Establishment Agreement be and is hereby approved for accession. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Any further notices of motions? Honorable Senator Tongogara.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to give notice that on Wednesday, 15th April 2026, I'll move that this House, concerned by the growing prevalence of Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and related neurodegenerative disorders across sub-Saharan Africa, which remain underdiagnosed, underrecognized, and underreported due to limited awareness, stigma, and a lack of structured national responses. Disturbed that Zimbabwe, like many nations in the region, is experiencing a demographic shift with the growing elderly, and yet there is no comprehensive public awareness campaigns, national dementia policy, or specialized support systems to assist families and communities affected by these cognitive conditions. Noting that with despondency that Alzheimer's disease report, there are currently over 3 million people living with dementia in sub-Saharan Africa, and this number is projected to triple by 2050 due to increased life expectancy, urbanization, and the changing lifestyles. Alarmed that despite this projected growth, more than 75% of dementia cases in Africa remain undiagnosed, and that persons living with Alzheimer's disease and related disorders often face social exclusion, misdiagnosis, and accusations of witchcraft, particularly in rural areas, as communities lack basic knowledge about the symptoms and the progression of such conditions. Further concerned that family caregivers, often women and young people, shoulder the emotional, physical, and financial burden of care without proper support services, training, or psychological assistance. Inspired by global trends where nations have developed national dementia plans in line with the World Health Organization's Global Action Plan on the public health response to dementia for 2017 and 2025, which advocates for awareness creation, timely diagnosis, caregiver support, and research. Now, therefore, this House resolves that A, the Ministry of Health and Child Care, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare, and the relevant stakeholders, urgently prioritizes public awareness campaigns, demystifying Alzheimer's disease, dementia, as related conditions across all provinces. B, the government establishes a national dementia strategy in alignment with the international standards to guide diagnosis, care, rehabilitation, research, and caregiver support. C. The Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education incorporate basic education on geriatric and mental health into school curriculum to foster empathy and early understanding of aging-related health conditions. D. Parliament calls for the strengthening of community-based healthcare systems to include training for village health workers on recognizing early signs of dementia and providing frontline support. E. The government partners with private sector, academic institutions, and civil society to invest in research and data collection on the epidemiology of dementia in Zimbabwe for evidence-based policy making. And finally, a National Dementia Awareness Month be proclaimed annually to promote nationwide dialogue, cultural destigmatization, and engagement with traditional healers and the churches. So I move. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Any further notice of motion? No further notice of motion. I received a list of ministers who have given their apologies. Honorable C.D.G.N. Chiwenga, Vice President. Honorable Colonel Retired KCD Mohadi, Vice President. Honorable Professor D.A. Murwira, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Honorable B. Kabikira, Deputy Minister of Local Government and Public Works. Honorable C. Sanyatwe, Deputy Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage. Honorable Dina, Deputy Minister of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare. Honorable Aramod, Deputy Minister of Industry and Commerce. Honorable J. Sako, Deputy Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development. Honorable V. Haritetos, Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. We are now getting into questions without notice, but I think I have a list of those who have attended. In the House, we have the Minister of Transport, Honorable Mona, Honorable Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Timoyo, Deputy Minister of, what is this? And tertiary education, and higher and tertiary education. Hey, please. Deputy Minister of Justice, Deputy Minister of Mines and Mining Development. I can see the leader of the House walking in, Honorable Minister Matuki. Welcome, Honorable Ministers. But I've seen the Deputy Minister of Mines. Yes. And I call for questions without notice. Honorable Shizai, Honorable Bima, Honorable Sibanda, can we start with us?
Thank you, Madam President. My question is directed to the leader of business, government business. It was meant to be directed either the Minister of Finance or Minister of Energy. Ministers, the price of fuel is a compounded sum of several coastlines, starting with the Platts price, that is the price at port, and then a premium, then the storage facilities, transportation through the pipeline fees. My question is specific to the issue of Platts Plus. The companies that add on a premium on the Platts price, such as Zua, Puma, Glencore, Petroshed, Total Energies, etc. They put that premium. Does government have a regulatory policy to ensure that these companies that provide fuel at port do not exploit the consumers? Thank you.
Honorable Leader of the House.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam President. I think the question which was raised by the Honorable is very, very pertinent. But because this question is coming maybe for the third or fourth time about the fuel price, the costing structure, and then we have asked the minister to come next Thursday to issue a ministerial statement to that effect, because the prices are changing day after day. So I thought it was important. When I was coming here, I knew you were going to raise those questions. So we asked the minister to come and issue a ministerial statement. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Honorable Minister Matuki. Thank you very much for bringing the minister to bring that statement. It's important. I had recognized Honorable Bima.
Maita, Madam President, nenguva yamandipa, mubvunzo wangu wakanangana negurukota rezvedzidzo. Takatarisana ne-primary and secondary education. Madam President, tinokoshesa mitauro yedu yatinowanzoti muchirungu indigenous languages. Asi pandakasvika kudivi reMatabeleland, ndakanzwa kuti muzvikoro paita kuma-languages vanodzidza ma-languages matatu, Chirungu, maviri, Chirungu neNdebele. Ndozouyawo kunoku kuzvikoro uku vari kunzi vadzidzi Chirungu neShona. Hongu tine ma-indigenous languages akati wandei, but ndakambotarisa pamaviri iwawo. Munohurongwa here, Minister, kuti rimwe zuva tione kuti mitauro iyo iri mitatu inodzidziswa kwese kwese, kuti kungava uri kuMatabeleland ukwanise kudzidza Chirungu, Shona neNdebele and vice versa. Wauyawo kumaShonaland uzivewo Ndebele, Shona neChirungu. Kana Chirungu chichimanikidzwa kwese kwese as a compulsory subject, why can't these two also be made compulsory? So mubvunzo wangu ndokuti mune urongwa here kumberi kwatinoenda kuti zviitwe, nokuda kuti mutauro unobataridza vanhu. Ndatenda.
Honorable Moyo.
Ndinokutendai mubati wechigaro, ndichitenda zvakare Seneta Bima vasimudza mubvunzo wakakosha, iri nyaya yemutauro. Tine mutemo mubati wechigaro unotaura iwo kuti, ndoda kusanganisa nechirungu, pamitauro yedu 16 officially recognized languages. Urongwa hwatinahwo pari zvino mubati wechigaro ndewekuti hakuna mutauro unonzi hauna basa. Mitauro yese yakakosha. Tikaenda kuChipinge kune mutauro unotaurwa wendau. Kalanga tikaenda kunana Bedbridge, Venda, mitauro yese iyoyo tiri kuona kuti muzvikoro vamwe vana vanodzidza voita shona asi ivo vachitaura Tonga, vachitaura ndau. Urongwa hwatinahwo pari zvino ndehwekukoshesa mitauro yese iri 16 16 languages. Nokuti izvozvo zviri kuitika, vana vanodzidza Shona neNdebele, Shona English neNdebele, vodzidza Chirungu neShona. Tadzvanyirira vana ava veTonga vanotaura ndau, vanotaura mitauro yakanyanya. Iye zvino izvi patakaparura urongwa hwe-heritage based curriculum, tiri kuti taane policy mubati wechigaro inonzi ZELP, Zimbabwe Early Learning Policy. Kureva kuti mwana ari muinfant school, ECDA, ECDB, grade 1, grade 2, haatobvumirwi pamutemo watinawo kuti adzidzisiwe nechirungu. Anofanira kudzidziswa nerurimi rwaamai vake. Kureva kuti tikazodzidzisa mwana iyeye chirungu tomudzidzisa neShona, asi iye anofanira kunge achidzidziswa neVenda kana anofanira kudzidziswa neTonga. Tinoda kuti kodzero dzemwana uyu dzatodzvanyirirwa pamutemo wedu watiinawo. Zvabvunziwa izvo tinazvo muurongwa hwedu, kwete iye zvino. Iye zvino izvi tarisiro yedu iri pakuti mitauro yose iremekedzwe, igone kudzidzisiwa muzvikoro, kureva kuti vanhu vese vakainzana, mitauro yese yakainzana. Saka vana ngavadzidziswe nemitauro yerurimi rwaamai vavo. Kana takwanisa kuita izvozvo, tochizoti ngatichionai mimwe mitauro. Nokuti kuti tizoti ngatidzidzisei malanguages ari 16 pamwana 1 zvinonetsa. Asi kuti ngatikoshesei rurimi rwaamai vake. Ndatenda.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Supplementary question, Honorable Zide.
Supplementary question yangu ine chokuita nerimwe divi remubvunzo waSenator Bima vati mutauro unogona kubatanidza vanhu kana kuvapatsanura. Handina kuhwisa kuti minister vati tikadzidzisana mitauro tauro takadaro ndo zvinobatanidza here kana kuti pane mutauro umwe unofanira kubatanidza vanhu. Iyo nyaya yekubatanidza vanhu ndiyo yasina kuhwa kuti vataura here. Kune dzimwe nyika sekunana Tanzania vakatozogadzira umwe mutauro 1 unonzi Swahili unobatanidza vanhu vose nyika yose. Vanombozvifungawo here izvozvo kuti nyaya yefragmentation yavari kutaura iyo inogona kudivhaidha vanhu zvataurwa navaBima. Nzira ndedzipi dzokuti batane nemitauro? Ndavonga.
Honorable Minister Moyo.
Ndokutendai mubati wechigaro, ndichitenda Honorable Senator Zvidzai nemubvunzo wavasimudza. Tikada kumanikidza vanhu vose kuti vataure rurimi rumwe chete, tingati tiri kubatanidza vanhu asi kuti tatodzvanyirira vamwe vanhu. Mutemo watinawo wedhemokirasi yeZimbabwe kugona kuremekedza mitauro yese yakainzana. Nekuti tikada kuti ngatingodzidzisai vana vese Shona, tatodzvanyirira vanhu. tadzvanyirira imwe mitauro. Saka pane nzira dzakawanda dzinobatanidza vanhu. Mapfekero atinoita sevana vezindusa taane national dress kubatanidza vanhu. Patinoenda tichiti gore rino tiri kuinda kumapisa kuindependence, vanhu vose nyika yose yoenda ikoko kubatanidza vanhu. Saka pane nzira dzakawanda dzatinoita sehurumende zvokubatanidza vanhu. Asi nyaya yasimudzwa naHonorable Senator Bima hatisati tasvika ipapo kuti titi vana vose ngavangoita malanguage maviri chete ayo atinoita dzvanyirira imwe mitauro. Ndatenda.
Thank you. Honorable Senator David.
Sibanda. Ngiyabonga Madam President. Madam President, umbuzo wami uya ku Leader of the House. Umbuzo wami uthi sibone inamba enkulu yabantu ade bebotshiwe esithi ngesikhiwa ama ex-convicts.
Can you please hold? Wait. I'm not hearing the translator. What channel? Channel. Please now. Volume. Okay. You can proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam President. Umbuzo wami uya ku Leader of Government Business. Sithi esikhathini esidlule esifitshane sibone ukukhitshwa kwamajele kwabantu ade bebotshiwe esithi ngesikhiwa ama ex-convicts. Abantu laba baphume beyinamba enkulu kakhulu. Esingakwaziyo ukuthi khona ekukhitshweni kwabo mzamo bani kumbe macebo bani ayenziweyo ngabo bona laba bantu. Abanye bakhwela abasebephelelwe imisebenzi, abanye babebulela abantu baphume nje bezifakwe amacala ehlukeneyo. Abanye bangasafunekile lokufuneka emzini yabo kumbe izihlobo zabo. Cebo bani eliyenzelwe abantu bona laba akakhitshwa emajele. Laba abanye abavele bengasela msebenzi labo cebo bani eliyenziweyo elenzelwe abantu bona labo ukuthi bazaphuma vele bayenga. Abanye izigebenga vele ezazivele zigwetshwe zingela ndawo zokuhlala. Ziyaphuma futhi zibuyele ziqeda isikhathi sabomantshi labatshutshisi zidlalisa lezikhathi zikahulumende zibuyiselwa futhi emajele zona lezo zibotshwe zikhitshiweyo.
What is the question now?
Umbuzo wami uthi khona licebo balenzelwe abantu bona laba ngase bekhitshiwe bazaphuma benzeni phakathi komphakathi. Ngiyabonga.
Honorable Minister of Leader of the House.
Thank you very much. We've got the Deputy Minister from the Ministry who is with us. Maybe you could attend to that question.
Oh, thank you. Honorable Deputy Minister of Justice.
Thank you, Madam President. I also want to thank the honorable member for asking that question. As the government, through the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, it is our mandate to ensure that whenever a crime has been convicted and someone has been convicted, they will be incarcerated and they will be kept by the ZP, Zimbabwe Prison Correctional Services, and they will get rehabilitated. And that is the mantra and the main agenda and main purpose of the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. We rehabilitate them when they are in the custody of our prisons, and whenever they get such skills in those prisons, they will be able to go back into the society and fit in well by the skills they would have learned in the prisons. So they will be fully equipped to ensure that they safely land back into the community. And as we can speak right now, the rate of recidivism is actually low, and we haven't yet reported any cases of people who have come back again to the prisons after they have been released. So the ministry has to ensure that they are well rehabilitated when they are in the prisons. That will be my response, Madam President.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Supplementary question, Honorable Sims.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to find out from the Honorable Minister that these will be inmates leaving the prison and they have no means in terms of, financial means to support their projects they would want to set up immediately after being released. Are there any plans, or do they receive any funding for them to set up their projects? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Minister of Justice.
Thank you, Madam President. I can say at the moment there is no program which is in place or any fund which is in place for what has been raised by the Honorable Member. But however, it is something which is the government has to consider in the future to ensure that those inmates who will be released will have a safe landing in the community. That will be my response.
Thank you, Honorable. Any questions without notice? Honorable Mavenyengwa. Honorable Pulu. Yes. Then Honorable Molly. Honorable Senator Molly. Honorable SHIRI. Honorable, in that order. We start with Honorable Mavenyengwa.
Maita basa, Madam President. Muvunzo wangu unaenda kuna Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. And inoda kuti ndihwisise Madam President kuna Honorable Minister ne urongwa hwavanahwo kuti hwapapi okuzvikoro zvokumarowa zvimwe zvitsva zviri kuvakwa nezvimwe zvakavakwa panhau yekuti vagadzirise zvimbuzi zvinoenderana navo nevana vakaremara pamwe chete nezvikwanisiro zvokuti vana vanourema vakwanise kupinda mumaklasroom zvakasununguka, nokuti kumusha kwatinofamba uko pamwe pacho munozvishayiwa. Ndakambosvika pamwe pane mwana wainetseka chose kuti ashandise chimbuzi kumarowa ikoko. Ndatenda.
Honorable Minister of Education.
Regai ndikutenda mubati wechigaro. Ndichitenda zvakare Honorable Senator Mavenyengwa nemubvunzo wakakosha wavasimudza. Ichokwadi kuti kumashure uku zvimwe zvikoro zvataive nazvo mumaruwa zvaisiririsa kuti vamwe vana vakaremara vaitadza kupinda muzvimbudzi nenyaya yekuti zvine musina pasina kugadziriswa kuti vaiteketa for vana vakaremara. Iye zvinoti ane inclusive education policy mubati wechigaro kureva kuti mwana wese akakosha, akaremara neasina kuremara, zvinoenderana nedonzvo rababa wedu baba Mnangagwa kuti hakuna munhu kana nzvimbo inofanira kusarira kumashure. Tine mutemo watinawo mubati wechigaro unotaura iwo kuti zvikoro zvese munyika inoyi zvinofanira kuti zvigadzirise kana kuri kuma-classroom kuya vanoisa ma-ramps ekuti vana vanofamba vari mauche vanogona kukwira vachipinda muma-classroom avo. Kuma-toilets zvakare, whether anoflasha kana kuti asingaflashi vanofana kuagadzira kureva kuti mwana anenge akaremara anofana kukwanisa kushandisa matoilets iwayo. Saka zvatinoita kuti tione kuti zviri kufamba here, tine yatinoti ma-JMV, joint monitoring visits, anotungamirirwa naminister, tofamba nemapartners vedu vana UNICEF, vana World Vision, Plan International, nema-teachers unions, tofamba zvikoro zvese tichitarisa. Tinotopatsanurana toita zvipoka 10 kuti province yega yega inotoshanyirwa. Takanyanya kutageta kumaruwa ikoko, tosvika toona kuti zvechokwadi panapa tiratidzei maremusi acho, handei kuzvimbudzi zvenyu. Zvimbudzi zvinofana kuenderana nenhamba yevana varipo, kureva kuti uwandu hwevana vechikoro hunofana kuratidza kuenderana neuwandu hwematoilets, kureva kuti matoilets iwayo zvimbudzi izvo zvinofana kunge zvichiona kutaridza kugadzirisa zvakanaka zvevana vanorarama neurema. Saka iyo nyaya inyaya yakakosha. Toda kutenda Senator Mavhenyengo avasimudza mubvunzo iyoyo, tatenda.
Okay. Supplementary question, Honorable Shiri.
Madam President, Honorable Minister, ndeapi matanho amunotora kuvakuru vezvikoro vanenge Honorable Minister, ndeapi matanho amunotora kuvakuru vezvikoro kana varairidzi vanenge vachiramba vana vakaremara nechikonzero chokuti mafacilities edu haasiri accessible kumwana mazvita?
Ndinokutendai mubati wechigaro, ndichitenda Honorable Senator Shiri vasimudza mubvunzo wakakosha. Mutemo weZimbabwe unomanikidza zvikoro zvese kuti zvigamuchire vana vese, kunyanya vakaremara. Hatisati tambowana yandingati report yekuti chikoro chakati charamba mwana nekuti akaremara. Chokwadi tikawana chikoro chakaita saichocho chekuti headmaster aramba mwana nekuti akaremara, ipapo mutemo unoshandisiwa. Tinogona kutochaja headmaster ivavo nokuti vane vaita yatoti act of misconduct. Saka kana paine mwana akarambwa nechikoro, tichakumbira Honorable Senator Shiri vatipe zita rechikoro chacho, toona kuti mwana iye tingamubatsira sei. Ndatenda.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Buru.
Thank you, Madam President. My question is directed at the Minister of Secondary and Primary Education. And the question relates to the recent move by government to limit the number of subjects that students at O level and A level may take. And we commend that as a progressive move, as we were beginning to see an alarming or an astounding number of subjects being taken per student to no benefit or to no end. My question in particular is, with regard to A level, was restricting the number of A level subjects to only 3 for all students under any circumstances without exception not unduly harsh or an overreach, which doesn't take into account that sometimes some students may be justified depending on the combination that they are doing and depending on the 4th subjects that they may be taking.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Senate President, I would like to thank Honorable Senator Pulu for such a pertinent question. Honorable Senate President, what used to obtain in our schools, we saw a student writing 12 subjects. And if you were to calculate the value of the 12 subjects, it's a substantial amount. Some of the students wrote 17 subjects at O level, some 20 subjects at O level, for no apparent reason. For a student to be enrolled in a university, he or she needs at least 2 A levels to get a place in all our universities in Zimbabwe and abroad. So we had to come up with a policy which states that a student should not sit for more than 9 subjects at O level, should not sit for more than 4 subjects. We allowed 4. Yes, we allowed those to sit for, that's the maximum. 3, 4, that is allowed. So that also gives the student enough time to prepare adequately for the examinations. You can imagine a student who is going to sit for 10 subjects at A level. Where will that student have time to prepare adequately? So it is now our policy to limit the number of subjects that a student writes at O level and A level. Just like what happens at grade 7. They all write 6 subjects. No one writes 7 or 8. So that's the same scenario which is obtaining now in our schools. I thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I had recognized Honorable Senator SHIRI. Order, please. I'm notifying the House that we have the Minister of Women Affairs in the House and also the Deputy Minister of Finance to those who want to ask questions without notice. You are welcome, Honorable Ministers. You can proceed, Honorable SHIRI.
Mazvita, Madam President. Mvunzo wangu wakanangana na Honorable Minister of Transport, Honorable Minister Muna. Nditendere iwo Madam President. Kutanga nokutenda Honorable Minister nokuti taridza unhu hwedu sevanhu veZimbabwe nokuchema nemhuri yokwa Mujuru yakatsakatika mutsaona. Honorable Minister, tinokutendai zvikuru zvakare tichida kutenda amai vedu mai Dr. Auxillia Mnangagwa nokuchema nemhuri. Inisa accident survivor, Honorable Madam President, ndinoda kuti kuna Honorable Minister.
Order. Can we have order? We are in the questions without notice. That one cannot just start in between the questions without notice. If you want to bring that one, it has its own time. I'm not stopping that in this house, you can't do that, but it has its own time. We are in between the persons without notice. Can you please proceed with that?
Mazvita, Madam President.
Yes.
Ndanganda kutoenda kumvunzo wangu.
Chitanga ine zvemubvunzo. Maita imatenda vanhu vaombera. Now chienda kumubvunzo.
Mazvita, Madam President. Mubvunzo wangu woti mavapapi Honorable Minister ne Road Accident Fund Insurance. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Minister of Transport.
Ndinotenda vanoremekedzwa mutungamiri weSenate, ndotenda zvakare vanoremekedzwa Honorable Senator SHIRI. Ichokwadi mubvunzo wavasunudza wakakosha uye zvese mhuri yeZimbabwe tinoona kuti ndufu dziri kuwanda mumugwagwa medu. Ndiri ipapo ndichiyambirawo kuti patinotyaira kunyangwe tiri muimba ino nevari kunze tinge tichityaira nehanya. Ndichipindura mubvunzo wavo, ichokwadi nekuda kwemuono une mutungamiri wedu President Baba Mnangagwa vakati timhaidzane nekumisikidza homwe inozorerutsa mutoro kune vanenge vawirwa nenjodzi nevanenge vashayikirwa nehama dzavo. Saka nekuda kudaro takava nebill rinonzi pachirungu bill ratiri kufamba naro road accident fund bill, zvichireva izvo kuti isu sebandiko reministry of transport takava nekutenderera tikanzwa pfungwa dzevanhu. Saka kutaura kwandiri kuita tichishanda neofisi yaattorney general tiri mudishi kuti bill iroro richimisikidzwa pachirungu ndo yavanenge vachiti drafting. Saka raakunopera todzokera naro kucabinet. Kana tabva naro kucabinet, vanoremekedzwa mutungamiri wesenate richauya kudare kuno, mochizoita mapublic consultations muchinzwawo pfungwa. Bill iroro rinei raakutanga rochizodhibhetwa muhouse muno. Saka ndiri kuvimbisai kuti mwaka watiri uno, tisati aenda kunopeta mwaka uno, ndinotenda kuti tinenge tamisikidza chirongwa ichi kuti vanhu vabatsirikane, vanhu veZimbabwe. Ndinotenda.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. According to my list, I had recognized Honorable Mndlovu.
Ngiyabonga, Madam President. Umbuzo wami uya ku Minister of Transport.
Order, Honorable Mfumira, please. Anyway, just pass it, because if you come back again, you are going to be in between the chair and the one who is debating. Proceed.
Umbuzo wami uqondana no Minister of Transport. Kambe ayikho yini indlela engenziwa ukuthi izimota ezincane zihambe kwelinye icele, amagonyethi lawo abe nendlela yawo, even ukuthi ahambe lapho kungelathala khona kulokuthi ahambe lapho kulothala khona, isenze izingozi ezimangalisa kangaka. Akula yini indlela engenziwa?
Honorable Minister of Transport.
Ndinotenda vanoremekedzwa mutungamiri wedare resenate. Ndotenda zvakare Honorable Ndlovu nechishuvo chavo chekuti dai taona migwagwa inofamba motikari duku neinofamba motikari dzinotakura zvakati wandei, anova matrucks pachirungu. Ndaishuwirawo kuti dai tiine homwe yakakura yekuti tingawane migwagwa yekuti ndo yakufamba zvaigona kuita, asi pasi rose mota idzi dzinongodyidzana kufamba kwadzo. Zvinoda hanya yevatyairi, wekuti kana uchityaira motikari diki nekutyaira mota hombe, unge uchiremekedza mutemo wemugwagwa. Asi tinotenda kuti dzimwe dzenguva zvinobatsira panenge pachirungu ndo yamunoti dualization iye. Asi vamwe vanogona kuti kunyangwe tiine mitsara kana mina iri kufamba, unoona motikari ichibva kune rumwe rutivi ichiyambuka kuenda kunorova dzimwe motikari. Vanorangarira tsaona yakaitika pachitunguza iye, tine mitsara mina, asi mota yakabva kurimwe rutivi ikajamba ikanodhuma motikari dzaibva kune rimwe rutivi. Saka zvinongodzokera paunhu hwedu isu patinopinda mugwagwa, kuti vanhu vazhinji vava kutyaira vasina hanya. Uyezve patinenge tichifamba mugwagwa dzimwe dzenguva tinokasika kutora marazinesi tofamba nzendo dzakati rebei, marazinesi aya asati tanyatsodzidzira kutyaira motikari. Saka zvakawanda ticharamba tichirovedzera kuburikidza neTraffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe, tichingoshuvira mhuri yeZimbabwe kuti patinopinda mugwagwa toremekedza mutemo wemugwagwa. Ndinotenda.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I had recognized Honorable Senator Chitsamba. Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. My question is directed to the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. What measures are being taken to cushion learners and teachers from the rising cost of transport, which is now directly affecting school attendance and performance? Thank you, Madam President.
Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Honorable Senate President. May I appreciate a very good question asked by Honorable Senator Chitsamba. On what measures the ministry has taken to cushion teachers and students? My answer, Honorable Senate President, is at the moment we have not made any decision or intervention. I think that is a question which should be directed to the Public Service Commission, especially on how the government can cushion workers in view of the increase in the petroleum prices. I think that that question, maybe Minister of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare may attempt to answer. But at the moment, my ministry has not devised any measures to assist teachers and students. And the price will continue to fluctuate. And I'm sure with the peace, the 2 weeks, the developments that are happening in the Middle East, we are likely to see the fall in the price of petroleum, of fuel, petrol and diesel. So we are watching closely, and as government, I'm sure a decision will be made. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Questions without notice? I can see Honorable Tongogara, Honorable Muserengwi, Honorable. I don't hear you.
Ndlovu Rita.
Ndlovu.
Yes.
Honorable Zindi. Thank you. Afternoon. From the one I mentioned first, I recognize you.
Master zvenyu, Madam President, mvumburi wangu uri kuenda kuna Minister we Primary and Secondary Education. Honorable Minister, kune vanhu vakuru vakadzidza pazvikoro zvavakadzidza. Iye zvino vamwe vane mabasa epamusoro-soro, vamwe vari kuita zvinhu zvinoshamisira. Asi vanenge vaine chido chekuti iko vaende vanosimudzira zvikoro zvavakadzidza. Pane zvinenge zvichifanirwa here kuitwa kuti vapuwe mvumo yekuti vaita izvozvo, kungave kunobatsira nekuvaka zvikoro kana kuti mabhuku ekuti vana vashandise muzvikoro imomo. Mazvita henyu.
Regai nditende mubati wechigaro nemukana wamandipa ndichitenda Honorable Senator Tongogara vasimudza nyaya yakakosha muzvikoro. Tiri kuona kuti zvikoro zvakawanda munyika yedu yeZimbabwe pari kuvakwa zvikoro, vamwe vari kutengerwa mabhazi, vamwe vachifenzerwa zvikoro nevana vasumukira vakadzidza pazvikoro izvozvo. Iyeni ndiri kutaura pano pachikoro pandakadzidza kumusha kwangu kuGokwe, uku ndakatovaka mablocks maviri pachikoro pandakadzidza. Tine mutemo unobvumidza vakadzidza, atoti maalumni, anobvumirwa kudzokera kwavakadzidza vonoisa zvivakwa kana kuenda kunopa makombiyuta zvakawanda zvavanokwanisa kuita. Saka mutemo unovabvumidza kuenda. Vamwe vanozviti Old Boys Association, vamwe vachizvipawo mazita akasiyana siyana. Ndiyo nzira yatinotoona yakakosha yekuti tivandudze zvikoro zvedu. Kwandakadzidza kuSt Patrick's kwaChiundura uko, ndakatoendawo ndakagukuchira makombiyuta ndikanoipawo ikoko nemastarlink kutendawo kuti vakandidzidzisa pachikoro ipapo. Saka toda kukurudzira nyika yese yeZimbabwe kuti vane zvikoro kwavakadzidza hatidzokerei tinovaka zvikoro zvedu. Tatenda.
Supplementary Senator Tongogara and supplementary Honorable Senator Zindi.
Mazvita zvenyu, Mr. President. Ndangada kungozivawo kuti ko pama textbooks edu anotengeswa muzvikoro, kana mwana akadzidza pachikoro akanowana matextbook aainawo, anogona here kungonokusiya kuchikoro ikoko kana kuti pane urongwa hwekuti ambotanga aongororwa kuti mabhuku aya ndiwo ari kufambirana neurongwa hwavepo, curriculum based education. Mazvita.
Honorable Minister.
Ndoda kutenda Senator Tongogara nekuzonyatsojekesa nyaya yavo. Mwana akadzidza pachikoro akawana mabhuku ari kunze kwenyika kana muno munyika, haana kodzero yekungoenda oti ndauya nemabhuku, nekuti mabhuku achona anenge asina zvaanoreva pacurriculum yatinayo. Mutemo uripo ndewekuti anonyora tsamba kuna headmaster wechikoro ichocho achitaura ndoda kukupai mabhuku, kudoneta mabhuku pachikoro. Headmaster otora tsamba yoenda kunana DSI, anogona kunzi unza mabhuku avo atarisa kuti mabhuku aya anobatsira vana ava here pakudzidza kwavo, nokuti mabhuku anogona kungouya asina chekuita necurriculum, kureva kuti tete angodhamba matextbooks pachikoro. Saka pane nzira inoshandisiwa yekudoneta, kuti unonyora tsamba uchikumbira kuti ndodawo kudoneta pachikoro ichi nokuti ndo pandakadzidza asi ndawana matextbooks, tozochaongorora kuti anoita here kuti abatsire kuvandudza dzidzo yevana. Ndatenda.
Mazvita, Honorable Senator Zindi.
Mazvita, mubati wechigaro. Supplementary yangu iri kuti...
Order, Minister, you cannot cross. Proceed.
Okay. Mazvita, mubati wechigaro. Mubvunzo wangu iri supplementary kune gurukota rezvedzidzo ndewekuti kanazvo tichidaira nekutenda mhinduro yavo yavapa yekuti vanenge vakabva pachikoro ipapo ngavaende vachinosimudzira kuti chikoro chinge chiri chepamusoro pane zvavanenge vachitarisira. Ndodzoka ndotini hongu zvakanaka, asi sehurumende isu kana kuti ivo semutungamiri kuhurumende anenge achitungamira bazi rezvedzidzo kuprimary, urongwa huripo ndehupi hwekuti zvikoro zvinge zviine zvikwanisiro zvakakwana, izvi zvozouya hazvo kuzozadzikisa pane zvatiri kuti isu sehurumende ndo zvatiri kuendesa ikoko, zviri zvikwanisiro zvekuti vana vanyatsodzidza zvakanaka, nepamusaka pekuti mutero tiri kubata sehurumende inova ndiyo mari inofanira kudzoserwa kunoona kuti vana vadzidza vaine zvikwanisiro zvakakwana. Mazvita.
Honorable Minister.
Regai ndikutendei mubati wechigaro, ndichitenda Honorable Senator Zindi nemubvunzo wavo wekupamhidzira. Pane zvakawanda zvatiri kuita sehurumende kusimudza madzidziro anoita vana muzvikoro. Taiona vana vekumaruwa vachitadza kunyatsopasa zvinoenderana nevekumadhorobha. Saka iye zvino izvi toda kutenda mukuru wenyika baba Mnangagwa vari kuisa makombiyuta muzvikoro vachitageta kumaruwa. Ndiyo nzira imwe yekusimudzira kuti pass rate isimuke uyezve kuti vana vagone kuwana access kudzidzo yavari kupiwa. Varairidzi vachona tiri kuvatraina tichiita maworkshops akawanda vachizobatsira vana vedu kuti vagone kuburitsa maresults anofadza. Tine zvakare urongwa hwekuvaka zvikoro nemaclassrooms achigadziridzwa, tichiisa mastarlink, tichiisa matextbooks zvinobatsirawo kuti access kuwana mukana wechikoro yevana unge wakasimukira. Zvinozouyawo izvo inozouya iri mbasera, iri yekuwedzera pane zvatagara tichiita. Ndosaka muri kuona mubati wechigaro kuti maresults edu ari kuramba achingokwira gore negore. Izvozvi gore iro rapera iro pass rate yeform 4 yakasimuka ne2% zvisati zvamboitika kubva 1980. Asi isu tiri kuti 35% haisi kutifadza. Saka tiri kuramba tichingotora maticha tichivadzidzisa, pamwe pachona tichikurudzira kuti zvidzidzo zve21st century zvive zvinoramba zvichikosheswa. Ende tinoda kudera kuti patinosvika ku2030 pass rate yedu yeO level inenge yakuma 80%. Se pass rate yeform 6 iri kuma 95.7%. Kureva kuti vana vedu vari kudzidza, vari kupasa chaizvo. Ndodera kuti tese tine hama dzakawanda maresults gore rapera eform 4 neform 6 kuti vana vakapasa. Saka izvozvo zvinoratidza kuti kuministry, kubazi reprimary nesecondary kuri kushandiwa, varairidzi vari kushanda, ende takabva tavatenda tichivapa mari muna Machi munomu. Takati zvikoro zvakapasisa vana uyai taivapa ma 3000, vamwe ma 2000, vamwe vaitoenda vaine mabayiro mishano. Sechikoro chavamatuke chakaita number 1 nyika yese chinonzi Selborne, kureva kuti vana ivo vari kupasa. Ndo mikana yatinayo yekuti vana vedu vagone kupasa muzvikoro vagoitawo mabasa akanaka. Ndatenda.
Mazita, Honorable Minister. Let me inform the House we have also been joined by the Deputy Minister of Public Service and Social Welfare, Honorable Deputy Minister Dina. If you have any questions, you can direct them to her. Next on my line is Honorable Senator Mujuru.
Mazvita, Mr. President. Mubvunzo wangu uri kuenda kuna Minister of Finance. Mr. President, ndoda kutanga nekutenda His Excellency President Dr. Mnangagwa nekupa varimi vedu kumaruwa ma-inputs epfumvudza. Tobva tazoita rombo rakanaka rekuti mvura yakanaya. Saka mubvunzo wangu uri kuenda kuMinistry of Finance kuti hongu makapa Minister vemaroads vetransport mari yekugadzira migwagwa. Asi nekunaya kwakaita mvura gore rino, migwagwa yokumaruwa yakaparara. Zvinozopa mukana kumakorokoza eChibage kuti vaende vachinotora Chibage chisina kuenda kumatura enyika. Saka mubvunzo wangu uri kuti vane urongwa hupi hwokuti vawedzere mari kuna Minister weTransport atarise vagadzire maroads kumaruwa nezvimabridge kuitira kuti marori agogona kutakura Chibage chakakohwewa gore rino kuti chiende kumatura enyika. Mazvita, Mr. President.
Honorable Minister.
Ndinotenda mubato wechigaro ndichitenda vanoremekedzwa vaMujuru nemubvunzo wabvunza. Ndinovimba uyu mubvunzo unobata gurukota rinoona nezvemari nezvekurima neretransport. Urongwa huripo huchibva kugurukota rinoona nezvekurima ndere kugadzira madhepo kune nzvimbo dzakasiyana kuitira kuti makoronyera ari kukwanisa kufamba pamigwagwa isiri kukwanisa kusvikwa nemarori asanotora zvirimwa zvevanhu nemitengo inenge yakaderera nokuti havasi kukwanisa kunotengesa kure. Urongwa huripo panyaya dzemigwagwa. Tinomira kunzwa kune veroads veMinistry of Transport kana mvura yapera kunaya. Ndinovimba panyaya dzeroads habilitation urongwa huripo. Isu segurukota rinobata homwe tinenge takangomirira kuona kuti urongwa huri kubva kune makurukota aya hwakamira sei, isu totsigira. Ndinotenda mubato wechigaro.
Mazvita, Honorable Minister. Although I still have 2 other honorable members who intended to ask, but in terms of order number 67, time for questions without notice has expired. Honorable Senator Zindi.
May I propose that we increase the time for question without notice?
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. President.
Time for questions without notice is increased by 15 minutes. And on that note, I recognize Honorable Senator Zindi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My question is directed, since the Minister of Industry and Commerce is not in here, is directed to Leader of the House, is it? Or Government Business?
Proceed.
I think Government Business. Honorable Ziambi, I thought I saw him.
No, Honorable Zambi is not in, but...
Oh, okay.
Honorable
So
Matute.
it's leader of the House. We have verify engineering, which is producing nitrogen, oxygen in Mutare. And the people in Mutare and Manicaland cannot buy it from the plant or from any of the outlets or one of the outlets set up in Mutare. And I want to believe it is government policy that people of the local community, where whatever is being produced in that area, they should have access to it. But in this particular case, they cannot access or buy nitrogen locally or in Mutare where it is being manufactured or produced, if I may say. What is the government policy? In fact, before I get to the conclusion of the question, they have to drive all the way from Mutare, wherever they are located, Manicaland, to come to Harare, because it is delivered in bulk and now is being sold in Harare. So they have to drive from Mutare, wherever, to come and buy in Harare. So what is the government policy to make it much easier for the Manicalanders to be able to access and buy from within their locality, since it is being produced? Because they've got to spend money, they have to spend time and all that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very good question from Honorable Zindi. I think the issue of verify engineering, they have developed a very good facility to produce oxygen, which is meant to be distributed to a number of places, mostly hospitals. That's where we consume a lot of oxygen, apart from other commercial entities. But the only challenge is after the infrastructure, there is need again to build the storage where that gas can be stored. So I think when we compare the verify engineering private limited with the other providers of the same commodity, you would find that even at Mutare Hospital, to be very specific, they've already built some storage facilities. When they deliver to those storages. And I'm sure, since this is still a new company, it is true engaged in trying to develop its infrastructure to have some storage facilities in a number of hospitals, in a number of towns, number of growth points, so that when they deliver in bulk, and then people can buy from that source. So the problem is about the infrastructure, and I'm sure it's an ongoing project. We'll see very soon, maybe we'll be able to get the commodity locally in Mutare once they establish the storage facilities, which are ideal for consumption by the local community. I thank you.
Supplementary.
I would like to thank the Honorable Minister for the response. But this nitrogen is also used by those in dairy industry for artificial insemination in order to store safely, so then they don't lose the activeness of the semen, which is supposed to be dipped in nitrogen tanks. Wouldn't it be prudent to facilitate the dairy farmers to access nitrogen from bulk gases in Mutare? Other than, of course, I appreciate the idea that, with hospitals, they don't have storage. But what about these dairy farmers who has got to go and buy, say, 5 kgs, 35 kgs, or who has got a 15 kg nitrogen tank? What can be done about that? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Maybe just to respond to the Honorable Member of Senate, I think the question is a bit specific, where we need to find out why they're not distributing locally, because that way it becomes, it's no longer police, but to find out the shortcomings of that enterprise, why they are not able to deliver locally, and they are supplying most of their gas to Harare. Because I thought maybe the issue was just about storage, but if there's anything more to that, maybe we may need to find out. It becomes very specific, President or Senate.
No, thank you, Honorable Minister. So maybe, Honorable Zindi, if you could put that in writing, we could get better responses.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll definitely do that.
Thank you. In the House, we have also been joined by the Deputy Minister for Health and Child Care, Honorable Kwidini. If you have any questions for him, he is ready for them. I recognize Honorable Senator Aaron Lofu.
Ngiyabonga, Mr. President. Umbuzo wami ngu-Director ku-Minister of Transport. Mr. President, ngithanda ukubonga u-Minister of Transport ngokubona imigwaqo eminye isetshenzwa kuyathabisa. Kodwa umbuzo wami uthi wona, nxa ngikhumbula kahle uMinister wasithembisa ukuthi kule mgwaqo vele siqalisiwe. Ngingayiqamba ngamabizo wathi umgwaqo ikhwekhwe to Nkayi usuqalisiwe, kule mgwaqo Inkayi isiqalisiwe, of course, yikho ngithe ngiyabonga le Victoria Falls kungcono imigwaqo iyatshengisa ukuthi iyasetshenziswa. But kulo mgwaqo wekhwekhwe to Nkayi, kulo mgwaqo weCholocho, weBulawayo to Cholocho, kulo mgwaqo weDete to Bhinga, Honorable President, imigwaqo leyo khathesi last week bengihambe kuyona leyani imigwaqo. Uyabungathi uyaphupha uhamba kuyona leyani imigwaqo, Mr. President. Bengicela uMinister asichasisele ukuthi kwenzakalani kuleyo mgwaqo, ngoba imigwaqo leyana imigwaqo eqhakatheke kakhulu, kodwa sikhuluma kunje akuhambeki. Uyathatha 10 hours, 7 hours uyafika lapho ufuna ukuya khona. And kusuka kube nzima ukuthi nxa uhlala eBhinga, nxa uhlala eSilobela njengami, ukuthi ekhaya kakuhambeki, Honorable Minister. So bengicela ukwazi ukuthi usuhambe kangakanani ngokulungisa leyo mgwaqo. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. But the challenge is you ask for extension of time and one person takes 10 minutes and then takes a few seconds to ask a question. So we will have wasted the 15 minutes. You know, the minister can respond.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. President Say, and let me also thank Honorable Senator Ndlovu for that very important question, which is cutting across provinces. And I want to concur with you that yes, a number of our roads are in a sorry state because of various reasons. But to assure again the Augusta House that most of those roads, we have done the procurement already, which is the tender processes, and we're just waiting for the rains. And now she will actually see, Honorable Senator will see massive rehabilitation programs taking place in those provinces, somewhere from Mat South and Mat North. And I want to assure you that even when it comes to Mat South, where we are celebrating our independence, we've mobilized tremendously in that province, and not necessarily for the independence celebrations, but to remain in the province until we rehabilitate roads. So it's another assurance that maybe those from Mat South are saying soon after independence we'll vacate. But I want to assure the Augusta House that we are there to stay and rehabilitate roads. And not only that province, and a very important road that she touched on, the Kwekwenkai Lupane Road, which actually cuts your journey to Vic Falls by over 200 kilometers, especially if you are coming from here. So it's a very important road, which we are also working, and few months to come we'll be opening first 10 kilometers of that road coming from Lupani side, and we'll actually cover coming from Kwekwe, that is Lovela, then up to Lupani, and also to do the Nkai to Bulawayo again, the entire road. So these are massive road rehabilitation programs that are taking place. But my usual humble plea, Mr. President, say to the people of Zimbabwe, there is no way we can attend to our roads at one time. We've got a huge network of roads, and therefore calls for patience, which I think if you continue indulging us, you will see us building our own country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Transport. And in terms of standing order number 67, time for questions of that notice is finally expired. It's now time for questions with notice. Question number 1 is deferred. The minister is not here. Question number 2 is deferred. The minister is not here. Question number 3 is deferred. The minister is not here. Question number 4. Honorable Senator Zindi has gone out, but the minister is in. Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, had you brought the response?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, say, allow me to defer the question to next week. Thank you.
All right, I've taken note. But remember, this question has been here for since time immemorial. So you've promised the House you will bring the response next week. I hope you will do that. So we then proceed to business of the day. The clerk will read the first order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on the report of the delegation to the 58th Plenary Assembly of the SADC Parliamentary Forum held in South Africa from 30th November to 5th December 2025.
When this debate was adjourned on the 8th of April 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Mbowa that this House takes note of the report of the delegation to the 58th Plenary Assembly of the SADC Parliamentary held in South Africa from the 30th of November to the 5th of December 2025. Is there any debate? Honorable Senator Mbowa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adjournment of the debate.
Who seconds?
I
I second, Mr. President.
It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate do now adjourn. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Sentamboa?
To next week, Tuesday, Mr. President.
The clerk will read the second order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion that this House considers and adopts the report of the thematic committee on climate change on the inquiry into the state of wetlands in Harare.
When this debate was adjourned on the 8th of April 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Mfumira that this House considers and adopts the report of the thematic committee on climate change on the inquiry into the state of wetlands in Harare, SC 7, 2026. Is there any debate? Honorable Senator Mfumira.
I move that debate do now adjourn.
Who seconds? It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate do now adjourn. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Senator Mfumira?
Mr. President.
To choose the next week. The clerk will read the third order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on unrestricted access to social media platforms by children.
When this debate was adjourned on the 8th day of April 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Mfumira, as set forth on page 349 of today's order paper. Is there any further debate? Honorable Senator Mfumira.
Adjourns.
Who seconds?
Seconds, Mr. President.
It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate do now adjourn. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those with the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Senator Mfumira?
Week, Mr. President.
Thank you. The clerk will read the fourth order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on recurring outbreaks of livestock diseases.
When this debate was adjourned on the 8th day of April 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Mavenyengwa, as set forth on page 350 of today's order paper. Is there any debate? I recognize Honorable Senator Nyati.
Ndoboka, Mr. President. Lubaka kwamandipa iko kuti ndi debate. Ndiboka kwazo Senator Mavenyengwa wakamiliza emotion mailana ne zvifuwo apetile ba zvifuwo tobetile bereka zvifuwo zvezvohanyisa mbudzi madonki kene zvose koga kwazvo zvifuwo zvatakalinga kwazvo takalinga ng'ombe ndoziva kuti vamwe valebereka kwazvo madhekwe mailana nezvifuwo zvezvi kwazvo sasvi tinobva ikweno kumativireni south valebereka kwazvo kuti zvifuwo kangodhi kuna dzingwele dzimwe dzinogwadza dzinopedza ng'ombe takalinga kwazvo kuti dzingwele dzezikazene kuri kuti hurumende unotama kuti tiwane miti kuti zilapiwe ngova iswi vutshilo gwedu gumung'ombe mwana apekula elimbisana etangisa hinga chekutanga hikutetenge ng'ombe ape esina ng'ombe inove isindoda yakapelela chose ngona ape tilinga tijengo tivona ng'ombe zipela towazvogwadza kwazvo tatikumbila kuti kadzene kutikala chose kuve nemaresearcher alingisise chose vugwele gokuti kati vugwele gwakati ngo gusingakone kuti guwane kuti gulapiwe. Mr. President, tileveka wale tijengo ng'ombe zakafa kwazvo gwele lakapela ene ndileva ndijengo ng'ombe dzopela kakale nangwena dzopela ene ng'ombe yakhona itogala yagwala inongogloza ndenda kuganwana kuli kuti ng'ombe yafa tatilila kwazvo kuti ngatichiziwe ngove iswi vutshilo gwedu gumung'ombe ape usina ng'ombe ndiyo benki yedu sevanhu vanobva kumativeni south mativeni north ndiyo benki yedu ndanditiwo nditongoposawa mavili ngove kunjinji ndovona vakutola vamwe vedu vakulevereka madhekwe ndovoka.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senator Nyati. Is there any further debate? I recognize Honorable Senator Muzenda to adjourn the debate.
Mr. President, I move that the debate do not adjourn.
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. President.
It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate do now adjourn. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Senator Mzenda?
Mr. President, to the 28th.
28th of which month?
Of April.
Thank you. The clerk will read the fifth order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on challenges faced by Zimbabwe's manufacturing sector as a result of prolonged deindustrialization.
When this debate was adjourned on the 7th day of April 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Katumba as set forth on pages 350 and 351 of today's order paper. Is there any debate? Honorable Senator Mlochwa. To adjourn the debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do hereby adjourn the debate.
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. President.
It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate do now adjourn. Those of that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Senator Mlochwa?
To next week Tuesday, Mr. President.
Thank you. The clerk will read the sixth order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on the prevalence of early child marriages and teenage pregnancies among communities.
When this debate was adjourned on the 7th day of April 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Chakabuda as set forth on page 351 of today's order paper. Is there any debate? Honorable Senator Chakabuda.
Thank you, Mr. President. I propose for the adjournment of the debate.
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. President.
Thank you. It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Those who have that, is there any further debate? I put the question that the debate do now adjourn. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the debate is adjourned to what day, Honorable Senator Chakabuda?
To Tuesday next week, Mr. President.
Tuesday
Thank
next week. The question will read the 8th order of the day. The clerk will read the 8th order of the day.
Urgent debate on motion the need to strengthen mechanisms to prevent murder cases in Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 24th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Ngwena as set forth on pages 351 and 352 of today's order paper. Is there any further debate?
Is there any debate? I recognize Honorable Ngwena to adjourn the debate.
I move that the debate do not adjourn.
Seconder.
I second.
It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The debate is now adjourned. What day, Honorable Ngwena?
Tuesday next week, Madam President.
The debate is adjourned to Tuesday next week. The clerk will read the 9th order of the day.
Urgent debate on motion on the report of the Thematic Committee on Sustainable Development Goals on access to safe and clean drinking water in the rural areas.
When this debate was adjourned on the 24th March of 2025, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Senator Chief Siansali that this House considers and adopts the report of the Thematic Committee on Sustainable Development Goals on access to safe and clean drinking water in rural SC 31 of 2025. Is there any debate? Is there any debate? Honorable Siansali to adjourn the debate.
Madam President, I move that the debate do now adjourn.
Honorable to adjourn the debate. Seconder.
I second, Madam President.
It has been moved that the debate do now adjourn. Is there any debate? Excuse me. Sorry, Honorable Senators, my papers are mixed here. I don't know what happened. I put the question that the debate be now adjourned. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. It has been what happened? Those with a contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Senator? Siansali.
To Tuesday next week.
The clerk will read the 11th order of the day. Honorable Senator Mzenda.
Madam President, I move that orders 10 and 11 be deferred until orders 12 to 19 have been disposed of.
Orders number 12 to 19 to be deferred. Is there any objection? 10 to 11.
Yes.
Orders to 10 to 11 are deferred. So the clerk will read the 12th order of the day.
Urgent debate on motion on the report of the Zimbabwe Gender Commission for the year 2024, presented in terms of Section 323(1) of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Gender Commission for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any debate? Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam President. There be no debate. I pray that the motion be adopted.
It has been moved that the motion has been adopted. Is there any debate? You want to debate? Can you debate? You can debate, Honorable Tongoka. I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I rise, Madam President, to thank you for affording me this opportunity to debate on the, to contribute on the debate of the Gender Commission annual report. Dio. Is it the one? Dio.
Is that the motion, Honorable Senator Tongokar?
Let me check, Madam.
You want to continue, Honorable Tongokar? You can continue, Honorable.
Madam President, I'd say that I rise to thank you for affording me this opportunity to contribute on the debate on the Gender Commission annual report for 2024. I also wish to commend honorable members who have spoken before me for these insightful contributions on this important constitutional body. My intervention will focus on the budgetary performance and the funding dynamics of the Commission, while drawing from the broader issues emerging from the report. Madam President, the 2024 annual report presents a compelling narrative of resilience, commitment, and impact in the face of constrained financial resources. It is glaring evident that the Zimbabwe Gender Commission continues to discharge its constitutional mandate with diligence and innovation, even under difficult fiscal conditions. However, the report also lays bare a fundamental reality that the effectiveness, reach, and sustainability of the Commission's work are directly tied to the adequacy, predictability, and the timeless of its funding. Madam President, the Commission's mandate is central to the realization of equality, social justice, and inclusive development in our country. The report highlights the gender inequalities remain deeply entrenched across various sectors, manifesting in disparities in access to economic opportunities, decision-making spaces, education, and the protection from gender-based violence. Addressing these challenges requires a well-resourced institution capable of conducting investigations, monitoring, compliance, undertaking public education, and influencing policy reforms. It is therefore commendable that despite financial constraints, the Commission has managed to deliver impactful programs. The nationwide outreach and the public education initiatives outlined in the report demonstrate a deliberate effort to bring gender justice closer to communities, particularly those in marginalized and hard-to-reach areas. These programs are transformative interventions that empower citizens with knowledge and their rights and available remedies. However, Madam President, the report also makes it clear that such initiatives are limited in scope and frequency due to resource constraints. With enhanced funding, these programs could be scaled up significantly, thereby deepening their national impact. Madam President, the report further underscores the Commission's strategic approach to partnerships and resource mobilization. In the face of limited Treasury disinvestments, the Commission has leveraged collaborations with the development partners, civil organizations, and other state institutions. While this is commendable and reflects institutional innovation, it also raises a critical concern that a constitutional commission should not have to rely heavily on external support to fulfill its core mandate. Sustainable and predictable funding must primarily come from the fiscus to safeguard the Commission's independence, credibility, and long-term effectiveness. A particularly concerning issue raised in the report is the impact of delayed and inconsistent Treasury disbursements. Madam President, even where budgets are approved, delays in releases disrupt program implementation, weaken planning processes, and ultimately compromise service delivery. The Commission's work, ranging from investigations into gender rights, violations of community outreach, requires timely execution. When funding is erratic, the very citizens the Commission is meant to serve are left vulnerable. Furthermore, the report highlights capacity constraints within the Commission, including limitations in staffing, infrastructure, and operational reach. These administrative challenges directly affect the Commission's ability to respond to complaints, conduct monitoring visits, and ensure compliance with gender equality standards. Simply put across the Commission, a Commission that is under-resourced cannot fully exercise its oversight and watchdog functions, thereby weakening the broader governance ecosystem. Madam President, it is imperative to emphasize that investing in the Gender Commission is a strategic investment in national development. Gender equality is a cross-cutting issue that influences economic growth, social cohesion, and sustainable development. When women and men participate equally in economic and social processes, the entire nation benefits. Conversely, when gender disparities persist, they impose hidden costs on the economy and society. The observations emerging from the report therefore lead us to a clear and an unavoidable conclusion. The current level of funding is insufficient to match the breadth and the depth of the Commission's mandate. There is need to deliberate and sustained budgetary support that reflects the importance of gender equality in our national development agenda. Madam President, in light of these observations, I humbly submit the following. Firstly, this House must reaffirm its unwavering support for the Zimbabwe Gender Commission as a constitutionally established institution entrusted with advancing gender equality and protecting the rights of all citizens. This support must go beyond rhetoric and be reflected in concrete budgetary allocations. Adequate funding will enable the Commission to expand its outreach programs, strengthen its investigative capacity, enhance monitoring and evaluation mechanisms, and ensure a more visible and impactful presence across all provinces. Secondly, Treasury must ensure a timely and a predictable disbursement of approved funds. Budget approval without timely release undermines the entire planning and implementation framework of the Commission. Predictability in funding this is essential for effective programming and accountability. Lastly, Madam President, as we celebrate, I take that again.
Honorable Senators, order, honorable Senators, can we be in the House, please? Continue, Honorable Senator.
Thank you, Madam President. Finally, Madam President, as we deliberate on this report, we must recognize that the strength of our constitutional democracy is measured by how well we support institutions such as Gender Commission. If we are to truly realize the aspirations of equality, inclusivity, and leaving no one and no place behind as we march towards Vision 2030, then we must ensure that this Commission is adequately resourced to carry out its mandate. In conclusion, Madam President, the 2024 annual report is a testament to the Commission's resilience and a call to action for this House. Let us respond decisively by strengthening budgetary support release and ensuring that the Zimbabwe Gender Commission is empowered to deliver fully its constitutional mandate. So I submit. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Honorable Senator Tongo Gara. I recognize Honorable Minister to adjourn the debate.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to take this opportunity to appreciate.
Honorable Minister, adjourn the debate.
Indeed.
Just adjourn the debate.
I move that the debate be adjourned.
It has been moved that the debate be now adjourned. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate be now adjourned. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Senate, Honorable Minister?
14th, Madam President.
To the 14th, Tuesday next week.
Tuesday next week,
Okay.
the 14th.
To the 14th of April 2026. The clerk will read the 13th order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission for the year 2024 presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any debate? Honorable Minister.
There be no debate, Madam President. I move that the motion be adopted.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. The clerk will read the 14th order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion. Adjourn debate on motion on the report of the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission report for the year 2024 presented to the House of Parliament in terms of Section 223 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there a further debate? Honorable Minister.
Madam President, I move that the motion be adopted.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. The clerk will read the 15th of order of the day.
Adjourn debate on motion on the report of the Judicial Services Commission for the year 2024 presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Judicial Service Commission for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any further debate? Honorable Minister.
Madam President, I move that the motion be adopted.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. The clerk will read the 16th of order of the day.
Agenda debate on motion on the Office of the Attorney General 2024 annual report presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 7(3) of the Attorney General's Office Act.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Office of the Attorney General for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 7 of Subsection 3 of A of the Attorney General's Office Act, Chapter 7 of 19. Is there any further debate? Honorable Minister.
I move that the motion be adopted.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. The clerk will read the 17th of order of the day.
Agenda debate on motion on the National Prosecuting Authority of Zimbabwe 2024 annual report presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 262 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the National Prosecution Authority of Zimbabwe for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 262 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any further debate? Honorable Minister.
I move that the motion be adopted.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. The clerk will read the 18th order of the day.
Agenda debate on motion of the report of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission for the year 2024 presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission for the year 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any further debate? Honorable Minister.
I move that the motion be adopted.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. The clerk will read the 19th order of the day.
Agenda debate on motion of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission by-election report for Binga RDC Ward 7, Nyami Nyami RDC Ward 11, and Umzimwan RDC Ward 15 held on the 5th of October 2024, and Nyanga RDC Ward 19 and Chegudu RDC Ward 29 held on the 18th of January 2025, and Victoria Falls Municipality Ward 1, Makoni RDC Ward 38 and Bindura RDC Ward 10 held on the 30th of November 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 241 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
When this debate was adjourned on the 17th of March 2026, the question before the House was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, by-election report for the Binga Rural District Council, Ward 7, Nyami Rural District Council, Ward 11, and Umzingwane Rural District Council, Ward 15 by-elections, held on the 5th of October 2024, and the Nyanga Rural District Council Ward 19 and Chekutu Rural District Council Ward 29 by-elections held on the 18th of January 2025, and the Victoria Falls Municipality Ward 1, Makoni Rural District Ward 38 and Bindura Rural District Council Ward 10 by-elections held on the 30th of November 2024, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 241 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any further debate? I recognize Honorable Minister.
I move that the motion be adopted, Madam President.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted. I recognize Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam President.
Honorable Minister, have you got something?
Yes, I have something.
Okay.
If order number 20 may be deferred.
20.
Order number 20, yes, until order number 21 to 24 has been disposed of.
20 to 21.
21 to 24.
Order number 21 to 24 have been deferred. Is there any objection?
The other way around, Madam President, to defer order number 20 until 21 to 24 has been disposed of.
21
to 24, yes.
It's okay. Is there any objection? The clerk will read the order number 22, 21. Pardon?
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission on Ward 14 of Chinhoyi Municipality and Ward 6 of Epworth Local Board by-elections held on the 2nd of August 2025 and presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. So submit. I move that debate be adjourned, Madam President. To the 14th of April 2026, Madam President. Indeed. Thank you, Madam President. I move that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission on Gutu East and Incisa North constituency and local authority by-election held on the 14th of June 2025, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of section 323(1) of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. I so submit, Madam President. That debate be adjourned, Madam President.
The debate be now adjourned. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Minister?
To the 14th of April 2026.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Notice of motion number 23, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that a motion that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission on by-elections held on 25th of October 2025, Ward 21 of Chimanimani, Ward 4 of Gutu RDC, and Ward 12 of Mangwe RDC, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of section 323(1) of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. I so submit, Mr. President.
The question before the House is a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, on by-elections held on the 25th of October 2025. Ward 21 of Chimanimani, Ward 4 of Gutu Rural District Council, and Ward 12 of Mangwe Rural District Council, presented to this House in terms of section 323, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any debate? Honorable Minister, to adjourn the debate.
I move that debate be adjourned, Madam President.
It has been moved that the debate be now adjourned. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate be now adjourned. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Minister?
To the 14th of April 2026, Madam President.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Notice of motion number 24, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to move a motion that this House take note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission on by-elections held on the 13th of September 2025, Ward 8 of Makonde RDC, Ward 9 of Marondera Municipality, Ward 7 of Mashingo Municipality, and Ward 16 of Nkai RDC, presented to this House of Parliament in terms of Section 323, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. I so submit, Madam President.
The question before the House is a motion by the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that this House takes note of the report of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, on by-elections held on the 13th of September 2025. Ward 8, Makombe Rural District Council, Ward 9 of Marondera Municipality, Ward 7 of Mashingo Municipality, and Ward 16 of Nkai Rural District Council, presented to this House in terms of Section 323, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Is there any debate? Honorable Minister, to adjourn the debate.
Madam President, I move that debate be adjourned.
It has been moved that the debate be now adjourned. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate be now adjourned. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Minister?
The 14th of April 2026, Madam President.
The debate is adjourned to 14th of April 2026. I now recognize Honorable Minister to adjourn the House.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to notify that the House be adjourned.
It has been moved that the House do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the House do now adjourn. Those who have that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion would say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the House is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Minister?
The 28th of April 2026.
28th of?
To the 14th of April. 28th. To the 28th, Madam President.
To the
28th of April.
The House is adjourned to the 28th of April 2026. Good day, Honorable Senators. Hambani kuhle, famba izwakanaka.